Thanks a lot, Pat. I really, really appreciate that. And again, I want to welcome everybody for being on here this Friday evening. That's right. We've been under the weather for a little while. We're still about 90% there. So you may hear a little bit of raspiness in my voice tonight, but I'm excited to be here with each and every one of you for this evening. This is a Friday evening, guys. Last Friday of this year, it's just been absolutely amazing. And this has been an incredible 2025, a life-changing 2025. So before we get started, definitely always want to read a disclaimer. This presentation is intended for informational and educational purposes only. We're not financial advisors. We're not giving out any type of financial advice. Participation in any business opportunity, ladies and gentlemen, it always carries a certain level of risk. So please assess your own financial situation and risk tolerance before engaging in any type of business. I mean, it's just common sense. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight. Just things that make common sense. And that's why we're so excited to be here with each and every one of you because, you know, everybody has an opinion. And isn't that true? I mean, we all have different opinions about different things, and that is just the reality of things. It's how things happen. But I want to share with you, ladies and gentlemen, that opinions, they don't pay you. Opinions don't change your life. Reality, when you get a hold of something that's really special, when you get a hold of something that's really unique, when you get a hold of something, ladies and gentlemen, that causes you to say, you know what? I've tried a lot of things. I've done a lot of things. But for the first time in my life, something's changing. Something's different. And when that happens to you and you start to notice that, it is going to be something that literally is what we call a game changer. Now, right now on the line with us, we have about 278 people on the line right now. And a lot of us on the line right now, you probably are here for the first time. So, with that being said, let me say this. First of all, I want to welcome you to being on our call for tonight. And I want to ask you a simple question. We've been hearing all about AI. Everybody now. 20 years ago, AI didn't exist. Now, it's doing things that were unheard of 20 years ago. Well, what if I told you there was an AI that wins over 99.6% of its trades? Now, I just want you to think about that for a second. Could it be possible, since AI is driving cars right now, since AI is performing operations right now, since AI is literally flying planes right now, and all of these things were, again, 20 years ago, unheard of, could it be possible that someone has created an AI that wins over 99.6% of its trades? Of course. Even though most of us in our mind would say, well, that sounds too good to be true, but so is everything else that AI is doing right now. But in fact, it's reality. But see, when I first heard about this, I thought that it was too good to be true. But you know what happens over time? Ladies and gentlemen, things that were thought to be too good to be true turns into reality after enough people see it over a length of time. And when I was introduced, this program was actually introduced to me back in July of last year, not 2025, 2024. And I thought it was too good to be true. And you know, the only way that you're going to make a proper assessment of anything is to evaluate the risk. You see, I knew by what I heard that if it was true, I would absolutely love it. It would be life changing, not only for me, but for everyone that takes part in it. But then the second thing is, if I'm wrong, can I live with it? Well, ladies and gentlemen, at that time, I couldn't live with it. I'd been a part of some different things before that went belly up, that went south, things that were paying at one time and then stopped paying. And so I did not want to be a part of anything that if I was wrong about it, that I can deal with it, I can live with it. Well, what would have helped me if I had said, you know what, wait a minute, let's think about this for a second. If I don't put more in than I can afford to risk, then I have nothing to lose. I want you to think about that for a second. For instance, and I'm not equating this with the lottery, but I just want to show you the mind psyche of a lot of people. Do you know how many people spend 10, $20 on playing the lottery day by day by day when they know that the odds are a million or 10 million to one against them that they will win the lottery? But yet, there's not a single person that goes and say, they wake up in the middle of the night and say, oh my God, I can't believe I spent $10 on buying lottery tickets last week. Nobody does it. Why? Because the level of risk, what you were willing to risk, you were willing to live with it, that if you were wrong and with the odds stacked against you, you're primarily going to be wrong. And if they did win, it would be life changing for them. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's what it takes. Anything that you're going to evaluate, as long as you're willing to risk and understand that what I risk, I'm willing to risk that, then you now have a very, very good situation, especially if something that could be life changing. Now, most people are very skeptical. I was very skeptical. I sat out of the program for 9 months. I would not join. And people who have a healthy skepticism, they look at positive and negative things about something, and they're going to decide by weighing both sides. Now, here's what typically happens on this call. People get excited about what they hear, and then they'll jump off the call and they'll go and start Googling the name of the company or companies. They'll read something negative online and it stops them right in their tracks. See, there's two types of people here. There are those that look at from the outside at this program, and because they hear some of the negative things online from the outside, they automatically ignore all the positive things they read online. They concentrate on the negative, and so since they're sitting on the outside, they allow people's opinions to not only keep them from getting involved in the program, but literally, ladies and gentlemen, they don't realize it, but a person's opinion is taking money out of their pocket. Case in point, do you know a year ago at this very same day, back in December of 2024, there were people saying all kinds of negative things about this company online, and the people that listened to them and decided not to become involved, their lives didn't change at all. They're in the same position. Others that decided to say, you know what, I'm going to try it. I'm going to put up what I can afford to risk, and their lives have changed significantly. Despite all the negativity, the reality is they decided to literally investigate this from the inside. So the reality is, ladies and gentlemen, here's what you need to know. Millions are being made every single day trading the crypto market. And the only X factor is this. If that is a true fact, then what if you can earn by copying the trades of people who know what they're doing that are making millions of dollars in this financial trading market? Well, that would be a financial no-brainer. You see, what we have is there's over 400,000 people right now that have saw the same information that you're seeing tonight, and they decided to make a decision. They said, listen, I'm going to listen to the person that told me about it, because the person that told me about it, they showed me their trades. They showed me that they were winning trades. They showed me that they were withdrawing. Whereas on the outside, I saw a bunch of negative people leaving a bunch of opinions, and none of them were getting paid. So the reality is, ladies and gentlemen, we have over 400,000 people now that are doing the exact same thing, and all we're doing is we're copying the trades of an AI that is winning over 99.6% of its trades, and that's why this is called BG Wealth Sharing Group. Now, I want you to understand that this group was founded by Professor Stephen Beard, who is a graduate of Oxford Brookes University with a master's and doctorate degree in finance. So that means we're dealing with a person who understands numbers. Now, He's going to allow you to use his AI absolutely for free. He's not going to charge you for it. You might say, well, why would he do that? It's because the character of the person, he wants to help millions of people change their lives financially. You see, most wealthy people will only help other wealthy people. But Professor Stephen Beard is different. When you're making the kind of money that he makes every single day, money just becomes a simple object. But helping a person change their life, that becomes a fulfillment in life. And you see, when you understand what we're looking at here, this is a tripartite win-win-win scenario. You get to win because you, first of all, can follow an AI now that wins over 99.6% of its trades. The second thing is Professor Stephen Beard is going to guide you, teach you, instruct you, and help you understand more about this trading market. He does it on a daily basis. And the third thing is that if you're going to trade in the financial market, you're going to need a platform or an exchange. Wherever you deposit your funds to, the exchange is the one that can literally utilize your funds when it comes to actual trades. Now, the good thing about DSJ Exchange is that DSJ Exchange is licensed in over 30 plus countries. In fact, if you go to the ASIC, which is the equivalent of the Australian the Securities Exchange Commission here in the US, the ASIC, you can look up DSJ's business organization number, and it will show you that they are registered with them. Now, here's what I want to tell you. Documentation beats conversation 100% of the time. You know, people often come to me and ask me, well, I heard this thing online. They said that, you know, people aren't really winning trades over there. And then I show them my back office and I say, oh, really? I can show you. And this was at the time over 733 trades we had taken. Now it's well over 800. And it shows you the winning ratio, which here is 99.86% win ratio. And I've had people tell me, well, I've heard and read online that you can't withdraw from that company. Ladies and gentlemen, I've withdrawn over 42 times from this company. And each and every time I put in for a withdrawal that I did it correctly, the withdrawals came. If you notice the withdrawal record here, several different dates, some of them the next day, 11/10, 11/12, 11/13, 11/14, 11/15. And some days I withdrew twice in the same day. So that debunks all the theories of people saying, oh, you can't withdraw in this company, because it's simply not true. And you know, if I find one thing that somebody tells me online that's not true, then it calls into question all the other things that you're seeing people say online. So I rather talk to somebody that's in the company and somebody that is actually getting paid every single day and somebody that's actually withdrawing and getting their withdrawals. It's just that simple. You know, one good thing that I like about this company is the fact that it's all about risk and reward. Do you realize this is an actual account of a lady that's in our company, Tara? She first heard about the program back in March, but she didn't join until July. Now, what's interesting about her account is that every single trade, and this was a trade that was taken on the 9th of December, it shows you that they don't risk more than 1% of your account. So where you see where it says turnover, the third one from the bottom, it says $784. That's how much she risked on that trade. And when she was risking $784, that represented at that time only 1% of her account. And when you see it says right below there, profit loss, she made $508 on that trade. What did she do? We're going to show everybody tonight. If you have a computer or if you have a cell phone and you can simply copy and paste, ladies and gentlemen, you can do exactly what over 400,000 plus other people are doing. And that is taking advantage of an AI that is winning over 99% of its trades. Well, what happens if the transaction fails? That's what people always want to know. It's not 100%. Yes, they do lose some trades. And we go back to that day where it shows you, ladies and gentlemen, anytime you lose a trade at the 1%, Professor Stephen Beard will turn around and give you a replacement trade. And if they win that trade, you're going to win it at 3%. So you're going to end up making almost double what you would have made, ladies and gentlemen, or triple what you would have made on the first trade. I think that is absolutely phenomenal. So let's go back again to the same date of 12/9/2025. Tara did everything like she normally did. She went in there, she copied the code, she pasted the code, and about 20 minutes later, it came back that the trade failed. And that's why you notice at the bottom it says her turnover was 792. She was risking 792 and she lost $792. Then Professor Stephen Beard later on that evening gave us a replacement code for this trade. And when we got the replacement code, notice now this time it risked 3 times the amount of her account, which was $2,400. And she won the trade and she ended up winning 1,453. Now, if you remember earlier, she lost 700 and she ended up now winning 1,453. So not only did she win back what she lost, but she actually still ended up profiting an additional $700. Ladies and gentlemen, that's why this is so amazing. Because we do something so simple. We leverage the market. The AI looks at the market. It finds the most advantageous trade to get in. And we're not saying that we're going to win every trade because we know we don't. But we're going to win the majority of them. Why? It's because an AI is that looks at the market, its complete track record is showing you that it wins over 99% of its trades. It is just that simple. Tonight, we're going to do the same exercise tonight. We're going to take a live trade. They're going to let us know when the code is ready. And I want to ask a simple question. If you're brand new on this line for the first time, give me a heart in the emoji section down there. If this is your first time, I want you to click on the little heart button and I want to see how many hearts are coming up. If you're here for the first time, welcome, welcome. Wow, look at the hearts coming up. And the reason why I asked for hearts is because the person that invited you, they cared enough about you to invite you to this presentation. Because you noticed so far, I showed you where people are taking their own trades. They're making money without having to share this with anyone. The fact that they shared this with you is saying one simple thing. They're making money. They would like you to make money with them. But if you choose not to, they're still going to make money anyway. I just want to make sure that you're clear on that. So 5 things I want you to walk away with from our presentation tonight. We've got an AI that wins over 99.6% of its trades. DSJ holds license and business license in more than 30 countries. BG has established a fund that if the AI goes rogue, loses all of your original deposit, they will take from this $40 million fund to help replace what your losses are. And they signed a 10-year agreement back in August of 2022 with DSJ Exchange that DSJ will allow us to utilize and work this platform, meaning take trades on the platform by simply copying and pasting. Now, let me remind you, ladies and gentlemen, this is a live platform that you are on. If you decide to hit buttons on your own, you will be put into trades. If you win the trade, you're going to have more money added to your account. If you lose the trade, money will immediately disappear from your account. So the professor says this fund protection is only meant for those people who copy and paste his signals. It is not meant for those who go in and start to try to trade on their own. Okay? And in addition to this, when we tell someone about this opportunity, we also can get additional trade signals and make additional profits. It's a win-win-win scenario. So different people are starting out with different amounts. We don't trade in US currency. You have to take funds from your US bank account or wherever country you're in, and you purchase cryptocurrency and you're going to trade from your cryptocurrency, what I call trading bank account. So if a person gets started with as little as $500, BG is going to give you a reward for day one. They're going to add another $25 worth of cryptocurrency to your account. If you get started with $1,000, they're going to add another 50. If you get started with $5,000, they're going to add another 250. So you start earning day one even before you take your first trade. I think that's remarkable. And the person that referred you, they also will receive a referral bonus. Now, everyone gets 2 trades a day. Let me repeat that. Everyone gets 2 trades a day. Let's assume that you started with $500. And because they only risk 1% of your account, that means, ladies and gentlemen, they're only going to risk $5 on that trade. And when you win the trade, you're going to get somewhere between 60 to 65% of the $5. So with 2 trades, you would make about $6.50. This is where compounding starts. The next day, when you go to trade again, it's not just reading $500 in your account. It's now reading $506. So it's going to start leveraging off the 506 rather than leveraging off the 500. The more your account goes up, the more you can make per day. That's why this is so powerful. It's called compounding. We have a chart that we're going to bring up. It's called a compound calculating chart. And when we bring that chart up, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to decide what amount you feel comfortable with that you would like to start with, and then we'll work the numbers. We'll show you what's possible mathematically. We cannot guarantee you as far as what you're going to make or what you're not going to make. I don't know if you're going to take your 2 trades every single day. I don't know how many times the AI is going to lose. It lost at least twice since I got started in March, but it's won over 800 plus times for me. So what does that mean? That simply means that everybody is going to be a little bit different. Some people are going to miss taking their trades. Every day we get our trades around 1:30 and around 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. If you miss taking your trade, meaning copying and pasting the signal, nothing happens to your account at all. That's why I can't guarantee you how much you're going to make. Because if you don't take the trades, ladies and gentlemen, your account just simply sits there. It does not grow. It doesn't go down. It just sits there. So I want to make sure that you're perfectly aware of that. Now, there's over 365 people on this line. I'm going to ask a simple question. If you're in BG and if you made money from copying and pasting, put hearts up in there. I just like to see how many hearts we have up here. Right now, put hearts up. And I just want to show all the new folks how many people have decided that they want to go out and they want to do what? Copy and paste. They wanted to get started with the program, because being on the outside complaining about our bills or complaining about our financial situation, that doesn't change anything. And if you notice now, the professor just put up the code. So I'm going to show you the process of what we do. So we go over in the bond chat. Right at the bottom, there's the code. We're going to copy the code. We're going to go over to our DSJ site. We're going to click on futures at the bottom. We're going to click on the word invited me. And see right, the box says, please enter the order code. We're going to go ahead and paste the code right in the box. And we're going to hit the word confirm. Now I want you to imagine if that's all you had to do every day, twice a day, could you do it? Would you do it? If it could change your life financially, would you do that? Or would you rather sit on the outside and say, I heard this, or I don't know if this is going to be true, or it sounds too good to be true, or whatever other excuse we would come up with, you could sit on there. And ladies and gentlemen, I promise you, I set out for 9 months making excuses when I could have been making money. And the very same people that told me, oh, that's not going to last, oh, it's going to crash, they were saying that last year. Here we are, another year going into the next year, and so many people have changed their lives. Let that sink in for a second. Because the naysayers will always be with you. And you got to understand that, you know, a person asked me a question the other day, which was really amazing. Let me go ahead and I'm going to flip screens here for a second. But a person asked me a question the other day. Said, why so many negative things online about this company? People are saying this and people are saying that. And I said, well, every single person that's saying that, I want you to think about something. Are they trying to offer you something else? About 95% of them are. You see, there's a lot of people out there, ladies and gentlemen. You ever heard the expression misery loves company? Well, there are a lot of people out there that are literally miserable. And because they are skeptical about things maybe that have happened to them in the past, so the only thing they do is they gravitate towards negativity and they feel that one program is just like all the rest. I did it for 9 months. That's how I know how people think. Until I finally decided to listen to somebody that was in the program and making money every single day. And that's when my life decided to change. Now, I want to bring your attention to something called a daily compound calculating chart. You can go to thecalculatorsite.com. And I want you to put your thinking cap on for a second. Now, there are a lot of people that come into this program and they say, well, you know what? If this is true, I can afford to risk this amount, or I can afford to risk that amount. Let's say a person says, well, I can afford to risk $500. Okay. Remember I said when you get started with 500, they're going to give you an extra $25. So let's put it more like what it really is. You put up 500, but you're going to now have about $525 in your account. And with 2 trades a day, you're going to average somewhere between 1.2 and 1.3% daily. Well, I'm just going to use the 1.25 and I'm going to put in here for 1 year. Now, again, this is not a projection of income. I'm just showing you mathematically what many people have already done and exceeded this. And I'm just showing you what math says. And I hit calculate. You notice it says in about a year's time, you're looking at about 48,000. If you don't understand compounding interest, you probably say, how is that possible? Well, it's because remember, every single day that you take your trades, your balance goes up, and every single day it's risking the 1% of your account. And so therefore, ladies and gentlemen, as the days go by, the amount of the account goes up. And if I were just to go 2 months into the future, remember, I'm starting this on December 27th. If I go to February 27th, something very unique happens. You notice here it says there's over $1,100 in your account. The amount doubles. This is when most people will say, you know what? I fully believe in this now. I've been copying and pasting every day. I saw my account double. And then they take out their original amount that they started with, which was their $500. Now everything left is nothing more than pure profit. Now, I want you to think about something for a second. Time happens anyway. Imagine the people that saw this on December 27th last year, and they've arrived at December 27th this year, and look at what's in their account. Well, that's pretty powerful. The other aspect is this. What if I told you that if you shared this with at least 5 people, the company was going to give you additional funds every single month that you can utilize to grow your account bigger? So for instance, once you share this with 5 people who get started with this $500 or more, you're going to get promoted to what we call a level 1 manager. And as a level 1 manager, you're going to end up with an extra $90 a month. And you get an additional $100 bonus. Plus, there's some other bonuses in there. So I'm just going to put it what it really is. You're going to end up with about $225 extra. And now I hit the word calculate. Now, taking the same amount of trades, ladies and gentlemen, over the same amount of time, I want you to look at the difference. Now you're looking at about $88,000. That's pretty powerful. Well, what if I told you that with those 5 people, once they shared it with 5 people, You now become what we call a senior manager, and they're going to give you a third signal. So instead of just getting 2 signals a day, you're going to get 3 signals a day, which is somewhere between 1.8 and 1.95. Somebody's going to call it 1.86, just for grins. Oh, and by the way, they're going to move your salary up to about $450 a month. And I'm going to hit the word calculate. Look at the difference. Ladies and gentlemen, numbers don't lie. People do, but numbers don't lie. There are people right now that I know that got involved in this company, and they've already made millions of dollars in this company. Now, I'm not saying that to impress you. I am just telling every single person that's on this line, can I guarantee you that you're going to make millions of dollars in this company? No. I can't guarantee, ladies and gentlemen, what you're going to do tomorrow. But I can guarantee you this. Unless you change what you're doing, you will continue to receive what you have. That is a mathematical certainty. Let me repeat that. Unless you change what you're doing now, you will continue to receive what you already have. That is a mathematical certainty. The only thing you have to think about is it worth me taking a risk to see if I can do something different to change things in my life? You know, I want to bring up a person, actually, a couple of people we have here on the line with us. First of all, I want to bring up Eddie. Eddie decided when he saw this program, he didn't know what was going to happen. He knew the person that told him about it, but he didn't know what was going to happen. And he decided that he wanted to try something different. And his mind went, what if? So, Eddie, if you can unmute your microphone, let everybody know who you are and what you've experienced so far with this opportunity with BG.
Thank you for this opportunity to be able to share. Uh, about 3 weeks ago, I was invited to join this group by Arthur Bankston. And at that time, I really didn't want to be honest with you. I'm a minister. I have several churches underneath me. I have a couple of businesses. So I was basically at the point where I couldn't bring another thing to the plate to be able to do. So he invited me and I said, yeah, I'll get to it. I didn't do anything for 2 weeks. Then he showed it to me again. And I said, well, I'm going to go back and take one more look at it. And I took a look at it and I said, you know what? I got to look into this more. So I did. My wife and I decided to sign up. This was a little over a week ago. And we invested $500, got 525. And within 8 days, we went up to level one and have over 1,500 in our account. Within 8 days, made already over 1,000.
Wow.
Probably by the next week, we'll be at level two. And this is really great for me, not only for me, but also I deal with a lot of ministers that financially don't have extra money coming in. And this will be able to help them bring in that extra money. This will help families that have kids going to college know that they can have a college fund. People that can't buy a house, this gives them the opportunity to have a down payment to get a house, and so many more blessings that could come from this. I believe this was a God connection for me, and I believe many more are going to be blessed from it. We are already seeing many who are coming in. I don't even have to go out and advertise. I've been trying to keep up with the phone calls every single day of people who want to join and come in. So, Arthur, thank you for inviting me into this. I'm excited about the future and I'm looking forward to all that God's going to do. God bless you all.
Wow. Powerful testimony. Guys, can we give him some hearts and hand claps? I mean, that is a powerful testimony. And you know, when you're able to help someone, that's what this is all about. You know, we don't want to take away anything from anybody, but every single person in this company is being helped by this. And that's the beauty of this. That's the power. And you can hear it in his voice. Guys, we're concerned about everybody that we deal with. We are. We don't want to see anything bad happen to anybody. But ladies and gentlemen, the reality is bad things are happening to people every single day. People can't pay their bills. People are falling behind. Marriages are being strained because of the amount of debt that is on people. And for the first time, ladies and gentlemen, people are experiencing remarkable stories, something they have in their hands that they can simply copy and they can paste, and they have an AI that is absolutely doing just incredible things. So thank you so much for that. I'm going to have another testimony coming up now. I believe this is Wilbur. Wilbur's going to come up and just tell you, we're going to ask him to unmute his microphone as well and tell him, what did he see? Why is he here? And ladies and gentlemen, you know, when you hear people's testimony and how they feel, they're just sharing with you. They're real people, just like you and I. They're sharing with you their thoughts. So, Wilbur, please tell everybody what's going on.
Hey, today. Um, like you said, I'm just another regular person like everybody else here. I got invited to join about a month ago. Well, let me take you back right before that. About 3 months ago, I got laid off of my job at General Motors. I've been working there for about 15, 16 years now. And about 3 months ago, they laid us off and they took our pay from 100% of pay and they dropped it down to about 80% of our pay. And they told us that they'll allow us to keep that for the next 12 months with our benefits. So now my mission was to figure out what can I do to be able to sustain me and my family within these next 12 months before they cut everything off. So I've been out door dashing. I don't know if anybody's heard of that, but I've been out doing a lot of door dashing, and I make about $100 to $200 a day doing the DoorDash. And I got invited to this from my auntie Pat and my dad maybe about a month ago. Um, and they told me about it. I came in, I listened to everything that was going on, and I happened to have $500 from my DoorDasher. So what I did was I went on ahead and put into the thing, got into it, and just to want to see what it's about. And like they said, everything they said was true. Within this month's time, I've doubled my money up. I'm actually more than doubled it. I'm on the way to tripling it within another couple weeks from now. And I've only been in this thing, like I said, 4 weeks. Well, Sunday it'll be five. Sunday it'll be 5 weeks. And I watched my money almost triple in that time. So it's just like, yes. Now I'm looking between now and the next 12 months from now, I'll be okay with being released from that job. I'll be okay with them releasing me from the funds because I'll have what I'll need to be able to put into other investments and other things that I have. So yeah, it's been nothing but a blessing to me.
Wow. Guys, can we give him some serious hearts for that one? I mean, you know, Wilbur, listen, you're not alone. You're talking to a fellow dasher here. I was actually out dashing when I got into the program back in March. And, you know, I didn't do like you did. I didn't go out and start sharing it with people right away. And I just sat there and my wife was copying and pasting and you know the stress to make $200 a day, you are out hustling. Believe me, I know what that's like. And so the amazing thing, when I hear your story, just kind of touched me because I didn't start really sharing this with people until July. And at the, you know, I started like on the beginning of July sharing it. And by the end of July, July 31st was the last DoorDash drop off I had to make because the income here had just totally replaced what that income was. So I feel you on that when you're saying you tripled your income very, very quickly. And that's the power of this, man, because it changes lives, right? And I'm sure, Wilbur, I'm sure you probably weren't out door dashing because you wanted to. You were trying to get the extra income to take it, you know, to take care of your family. And that's what this is all about, guys. How many people out there have a plan B? I mean, he had a very successful job, right? Working in the automobile industry. And all of a sudden they dictated, they decided, oh no, we're going to cut this and cut that. And so therefore, most people don't have a plan B. Guys, listen, isn't this an excellent plan B? Think about it for a second. You could still work your current job that you're working, copy and paste every single day, build your account up. And if any moment, once you build your account up, if you don't want to work your current job anymore, hey, guess what? You don't have to. It gives you options. Sitting back being negative has never gave a single person an option at all. Believe me, I know I was out being negative, door dashing and negative at the same time, and this was right here in front of me. I am saying that to say this. We just heard two very, very powerful testimonies tonight, guys. And these are people giving you their testimony from their heart. See, nobody is on this line tonight going to try to talk you into anything. What we're telling you is that you need to be prepared to have some type of plan B. If not this one, I don't know which one, but I will tell you this. As you see these different levels that are right here in the screen or on the screen in front of you, the company not only rewards you when you build a team, but they give you an additional salary. And that salary, ladies and gentlemen, starts out with just 5 people. You get an extra $90 a month. They give you $30 on the 9th, the 19th, and the 29th. And then once you help those 5 people, once 2 of them have 5, and there's a total of 25 people on your team, well, guess what? They raise your salary to $150 every 10 days. See, it's all about helping people. And as you become a level 3 and a level 4 and a level 5, you guys get the picture, the salary goes up. We have people on this line right now that are level 3s getting $500 every 10 days. Level 4s getting $1,200 every 10 days. This is extra on top of what they make in their trading accounts. We have people on our team that are level 5s that are getting $2,400 added to their account every 10 days. That's life-changing. Many of you on this line right now, how many people on this line right now would like to become a level 7? Give me a hand clap if you would like to become a level 7. I just want to see how many people on here at a level 7 getting a $25,000 bonus and getting $10,000 every 10 days. Would that be life-changing for a lot of people? Absolutely. Look at all the hand claps coming up. Ladies and gentlemen, when you join this program, you have no idea what's in front of you. You have no idea what's possible. But the professor said, I'm going to make it even sweeter. He said for the entire year of 2026, if you reach a level 7, he's going to pay for you to have your dream car. You get to pick the model. You get to pick the car. Anywhere between $50,000 and $300,000, he will make the payments on the car. Now ask yourself a simple question. Can you see yourself there? Can you see yourself driving a car that's being paid for by a company? Ladies and gentlemen, that's what really gets to me when I talk to people sometimes and they say, oh, I think it's a scam. How many companies have you ever seen that was a scam that are making luxury car payments for people? I've never seen it in my life. And so sometimes it tells people, you need to start thinking for yourself. With over 400,000 people copying and pasting every single day, getting paid every single day, withdrawing whenever they want, it's time, ladies and gentlemen, for you to think for yourself and stop letting negative people take money out of your pocket, and you take control and start putting money in your pocket. And it doesn't stop at level 7. The professor said, you know what? We're going to add 5 additional levels all the way up to level 12, where you get a monthly salary of over $1 million a month. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm going to say this. Anytime, ladies and gentlemen, anytime in life we're going to make any kind of decision, there's always 2 people present. In your brain, there's always 2 thinkings that are present. One is an optimist, the other is a pessimist. You know, a pessimist is a person that's always looking for reasons why this won't work, why that won't work, or they'll always try to be negative. What about this? What about that? But an optimist is a person that says, you know what? I see what my reality is. I look at my bank account every single day. I'm working a job that's making me sick and tired, not paying me enough money. I'm always under the threat of this shutting down and that shutting down and this going out of business and living, ladies and gentlemen, where you're dictated how much money you're going to make. You're dictated where you're going to live. You're dictated what kind of car you're going to drive. You're dictated if you can care for your loved ones at all or not. Or you can take control and say, if this is working for 400,000 other people and it's changing their lives, why not me? Why not you? That's the reality, ladies and gentlemen. We're so excited for each and every one of you guys. And I say this from the bottom of my heart. The person that invited you, they care about you. They love you. They want to help you. But the reality is this. When this was first presented to me in July of last year, and I said no, did the opportunity go on anyway? Absolutely. While I was saying no, the person that shared it with me, shared it with other people, they started saying yes. Their life changed every single day. Money was going into their accounts. And nothing was going into mine. Who you listen to is who, ladies and gentlemen, is going to control what your reality is going to be. Why not join the company and listen to yourself? Why not see if what the professor is saying to you when he says, if I give you a code and signal, and I'm giving them out as many as 7 times a day, but everybody gets it twice a day. If I give you a code, will you at least copy it? And if you would copy it and the code wins, will you do it again the next time I give you a code? And the next day, will you do it again? And to the fact when your account starts to double and quadruple, will you take a withdrawal just to see that this is real? That's the message the professor gives to all of us every single day. Because his main goal, ladies and gentlemen, is to help people just like you and I. People who are out there working jobs, doing things they don't want. This is not just for the wealthy. No. This is for the average, everyday person who really needs that break, who needs something that can change their life. So as you get off this call tonight, I want you to reflect. And I want you to think about, no matter what decision you make, this is what I want you to think about. If you decide to say, sounds too good to be true. If you decide to say, oh, I see good things and bad things online, but I just don't know. I don't know. I think I'm not going to do it. Whatever you decide to do yourself one simple favor. If you're skeptical, make the person a promise that invited you to this call. Make this promise to them. Say, listen, I'm not going to join right now, but I'm going to make you a promise that every 7 days I'm going to call you up and I want you to show me your account. And I want to see if you won every trade, like they say, that this thing is winning 99% of the time. And then a week later, I'm going to call you back again. I want you to show me your account. I want to see if your account's going up. And just keep doing that for 1 month. I want you to make that promise to the person. Because, ladies and gentlemen, I don't want you to be in the dark. While this is happening and while people are getting paid, I want you to realize that the person that's sharing this with you is only doing so because they care about you and they want to help you. But remember, they are going to make money with you, or they can make money without you, but it's going to go on anyway. I see the results have come in off that trade. If you guys won that trade, put hearts up in the chat box area. If you guys won the trade, hearts, dollar signs, hand claps. If you guys just won that trade. Powerful. See, guys, they're getting ready right now for the next trade signal, which starts at 8 o'clock for tonight. But we're looking here. We'll see in a moment. Someone will probably put up their results. And I don't want to show you mine because I want you to see from somebody that's not connected with me. I want you to see, ladies and gentlemen, I don't want anybody to walk away with, oh, he just fabricated that. He put up his own results and he probably just made that up. I want you to see as people are in here saying, I love BG. Thank you, Professor. You're changing my life. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to hear it from other people. So let's see if we can find one person that put up their results, and then we'll be done with this call for this evening. And there we go. Let's take a look at it. Now, remember, I told you the person's they're only going to risk 1% of their account. So you'll notice that they risk $417. That represents 1% of this person's account. So this person has over $41,000 in their account. And they just made $261 off the trade that we took tonight. Now, guys, reflect on that for a second. Is that powerful or what? That's the reality of what we do every single day. Here's another person. They just made $369 on that trade. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to do me a big favor. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to unmute the lines. And I'm going to ask one simple question. If you just got paid off of that trade, I want you to unmute your line and let everybody know. This is Friday. Let everybody know that you just got paid. I'm going to go ahead and unmute the lines, everybody. And again, as loud as you can, if you just got paid, please say it.
Just got paid
Friday night.
night.
Money, money,
Friday
money,
night.
money.
Got paid.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Baby.
Money,
Gonna get
more
paid.
money, more money, more money.
Friday night.
Got
Just got
paid.
paid.
More money, more
Money,
money.
Friday paid.
I did not
yes,
Friday
sir.
night. Got
Night.
paid.
Yeah.
Friday night.
I need food. Got
I just got
paid.
paid.
Received
Congratulations.
deposited money.
Got paid.
Somebody
$100.
Mickey got paid.
Friday
Got
night.
paid.
I
Yeah.
just got paid.
We
Just
just
got
got
paid.
paid.
Got
That's
paid.
why you sleep.
Friday
All right,
night.
everybody, have a great evening. We'll see you
I
on the next
just
call
got
Sunday night.
paid.
Until then, good night, everybody.
I just got
I
paid.
just got paid.
They got
I
paid.
know. I
Just
just
got
got
paid.
paid.
We
Go.
all just got paid. How about that?
Oh my God.
Today I
Yes, it is.
just
All
got
right.
Friday
Got
night.
paid.
paid.
Just got paid.
Got
Almighty
paid.
dollar.
Hey, BJ.
Just got paid.